The Pope's visit to the U.S. begins tomorrow in Washington. Chip Reid is at the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception, where Francis will address worshipers. Chip, good morning.
Well, good morning. This will be the 10th time a pope has set foot on U.S. soil. For Pope Francis, of course, it will be his first, but this could be the most earth-shaking of them all.
Plane is on the ground. It just hit.
In 1965, Pope Paul VI made a historic landing in New York.
Greatest to you, America, the first pope to set foot upon your land, blesses you with all his heart.
He was cheered on by millions as he made his way through Manhattan.
The Pope is in the General Assembly Hall,
where he addressed the United Nations and met with President Lyndon Johnson. The Pope's enthusiastic reception was a sign of changing times. For many years, anti-Catholic sentiment had been widespread in the U.S., fueled in part by fears that a Catholic American president would take orders from the Vatican. That began to change when John F. Kennedy affirmed his belief in the separation of church and state in a historic campaign speech in 1960.
I do not speak for my church on public matters, and the church does not speak for me.
Father Thomas Reese is with the National Catholic Reporter.
Anti-Catholicism, in a sense, died with John Kennedy. John Kennedy became an American hero. So his assassination kind of, put anti-Catholicism to rest.
More than a decade passed before another pope visited the U.S. In 1979, Pope John Paul II traveled to 6 cities and delivered over 50 speeches and sermons. The final stop was in Washington, where he visited the White House by invitation of President Jimmy Carter.
Only a devout Baptist president could invite the Pope to come and visit the White House.
Was he well received, or was there still some fear of a pope coming to Washington?
The church was changing by that time. And Americans in general, who were very anti-communist, saw the papacy, saw the Pope, saw John Paul as an ally of the United States against communism.
In a 1987 tour of America, Pope John Paul spoke on human rights. In San Francisco, he blessed Catholic AIDS patients. In Detroit, he preached against abortion, a message he continued to deliver in a 1993 address in Denver and his final address in St. Louis in 1999, where he visited with President Bill Clinton. In 2008, Pope Benedict XVI made a 6-day tour of America. During the trip, he highlighted the sexual abuse scandal involving Catholic priests in the United States. During a visit to the White House, President George W. Bush hit a lighter note.
Happy birthday to you.
He and First Lady Laura Bush celebrated Pope Benedict's 81st birthday. As Pope Francis makes his way to Washington, he will be making history as the first pope to address the U.S. Congress. Father Reese says his message could also ruffle some feathers.
This pope is concerned about the poor, the environment, and that he's critical of libertarian capitalism. So he's not afraid of challenging people, and sometimes when he challenges people, they get mad.
You expect him to challenge Congress?
I don't see how he can't.
According to one recent major study, the number of Catholics in America has been steadily decreasing in recent years, but U.S. Catholic leaders hope this visit by Pope Francis will help turn that trend in the other direction. Gail?
All right, thank you, Chip. And that's true. Even while church attendance has declined, our new CBS poll showed that there's an overall very positive assessment.
Stunningly positive.
Stunningly positive.
Yeah.
So Pope Francis if they can put more seats in the pews, I think that will please Catholic leaders.
And people just like him.
Just
People are
like
so
him.
excited. You just want to be in the room wherever he is. Thank you, Chip.